Hi, I'm Jimmie Leach, and I'm your host today for The Cop Shop on Tennessee Underground YouTube TV channel. On this show, we try to show you the human side of policing, the human side of police officers, being a police officer. Some of it's kind of funny, some of it's heartbreaking, folks. I'd like to tell you about my first airplane ride. I was terrified of flying, and one of my favorite friends, another TBI agent, a fellow named Lucien English. You've heard me speak of him before if you've listened to this show before. Lucien and I played jokes on one another all the time. We loved one another. We were crazy about one another, but we did mess with one another. I think Lucien loved the Lord. He loved his family. He loved law enforcement. And right behind those three, he loved screwing with me. We were working on a homicide. And sometimes, if you know, if you're in the law enforcement business, after a while you run out of leads. If it's a murder mystery, and we were in that shape, we were kind of riding around one afternoon trying to figure out what to do next, who we could go interview, or where we could look to try to get some evidence to work on this case. And Lucien had been for about a year or so, I guess, terribly involved in getting his pilot's license to fly an airplane. And turned out he and a deputy sheriff had gone in together and bought a little single-engine Cessna airplane. He was always talking about his flying, and I would talk to him about it too. I was terrified. I'd never flown in my life. Never. And I was terrified to fly. Lucien knew this well. So anyway, we were over in his home county, which is where the plane was, and finally he says, all right, here's what we need to do. We're going to get you over being scared of flying. You're fixing to fly an airplane. I said, don't want to, Lucien. He said, well, you're going to. He said, we're in my car, and we're going to the airplane. You're going to fly. You're going to get over it. There ain't nothing to it. You ain't going to mind. I said, I don't want to, Lucien. He said, well, that's where we're headed right now. So we go. We rode a few minutes, and the next thing I know, we're taking a state highway over the interstate, over I-40. We turned left on a little county road. Well, I thought, I guess he's decided we're going to do something else. And I was frankly glad because I was scared to death. Well, the next thing I know, we're pulling up in a soybean field. Okay, I hope you know what I'm talking about. If you're not from this part of the country, you may not know what I'm talking about, but it's an agricultural thing where you grow soybeans. It's a soybean field. Had an old dilapidated, worn out barn out in the middle of it. We pull up to the barn. I said, what are we doing, Lucien? He said, we're supposed to take an airplane ride. We pull up to this barn, this old broke down barn in the middle of a soybean field, and there is his airplane. And I'm thinking, okay, you've committed to do it, so we're going to do it. So we get in the plane, he cranks it up, and does all this. And he's talking to me the whole time. Now remember, he understands that I'm terrified. He knows that very well. So he gets the plane started, and we start taxiing out. And in the field, there was a little hill, okay? And you went off the top of the hill, went down, and then down in this little bottom here, down in the country, we call them a little bottom, there was a ditch down there and a tree line. So we're trying to get up speed. Lucien steady explaining to me what's going on. I just want it to be over with, frankly. Well, we start, and finally he said, well, I hope we get our speed up high enough. He said, if we don't get high enough, our wheels are liable to catch on them trees. And if our wheels catch on them trees, I said, I get the picture, Lucien. I think I know what'll happen. He said, all right, maybe we'll make it. I think we'll make it. So we get up in the air, and I've got my hand. I'm holding onto a strap in my right hand, and got my arm behind his seat with my left hand, and I'm straining all I can. I'm nervous, terribly nervous. So we get up in the air, and we start going. We're just flying about 20 miles. We're flying back to Jackson. Town in Middle Tennessee, West Tennessee, where we're based out of. We're flying back to the airport in Jackson, Keller Field. Wasn't far. Seemed like a long way to me. Anyway, we get up in there, and I'm just trying to say something. I'm trying to talk about anything to get my mind off of how scared I was. And shortly after we got up in there, we cleared the trees, of course, and got up and turned like this, go back east, headed toward Jackson. I said, Lucien, how long have you had your pilot's license anyway? And he looked at me like I'd lost my mind. He said, license? I ain't got no license. I said, Lucien, you're telling me that you don't have a pilot's license? He said, well, no, I ain't really got a license, Leach, but I can fly a plane. I just hadn't took the test, I said, you ain't got no so-and-so pilot's license. No, I ain't got no pilot's license. I should have known. I should have known before I ever got in this airplane. He said, it's going to be all right. It's going to be, oh, I'm about to have a nervous breakdown, you know. And we keep flying. And we don't say much after that. There wasn't much said after that. So we start approaching the airfield. And it's a commercial airport, you know. And so Lucien puts his little head things on and all this. And, he's had them on. I guess he had them on all the time. He turned his radio. And he starts going, you know, Cessna so-and-so to Jackson. And I don't know anything about what we're doing, but I can certainly tell nobody is answering him on this radio. Ain't nobody studying us, nobody talking to him, nothing. And by this time, I'm just looking out the window. I was a bad smoker back then, and boy, I wanted a cigarette bad. But I didn't want up in that airplane. I didn't know what that'd do, you know. So we're flying. And after about the third time that he called the tower, and they didn't answer, he just took the headphones off and thumb in the back seat and looked at me and said, watch for planes. Well, that was just about the last. I said, watch for planes. I said, English jets land at this airport. And you tell me, watch for planes. And I'm thinking, oh, we're just dead. It's just a matter of how we get it. Are we going to crash? Are they going to run over? So believe me, I was watching for planes. So I was forevermore watching for airplanes. Didn't see any. We landed on the ground. We got out and he taxied over here to get some fuel. I didn't even know. I don't know if we were low on fuel or not. That'd been the last thing I needed to hear, that it was about to run out of gas, you know. And we get out. I could have kissed the ground, folks. I mean, it was a stressful thing. He said, all right, old boy. That's what he talked to. He said, all right, old boy, let me gas up here. We'll head back to Brownville. I said, nope. He said, what do you mean? I said, Lucien, I ain't getting back in that airplane. Oh, bud, you did good. I said, Lucien, I am not getting back in the airplane. He said, but your car is. I said, I know where my car is. I can get a ride. No, I'm not getting back in that airplane. Forget it. I went in and called. And of course, everybody within probably a 100-mile radius by the next morning knew about my airplane flight and how scared I was and that. So if you've listened to our show before, you may have heard me tell a story involving Lucien, where I told the lady that he was going to be interviewing that he couldn't hear very well and she had to scream in his face. And at the end of that episode, I said, he'll get me back. I knew he would get me back. I said, but right now, I can't remember how he got me back. Well, I thought about it after the show, and the airplane trip was when he got me back. But I wish I'd had a picture when he said, license? I ain't got no license, just like I'd lost my mind. Folks, I hope you keep watching us. We'll come up with some stories and kind of show you the other side of police work. My name again is Jimmie Leach. This is the Cop Shops on Tennessee Underground YouTube TV. Until next time, please be safe. Thank you.